sweet. Okay. Hello plant pals and welcome to another video. My name is Kenna and I'm so excited to have you here with me today. Today we are going to be unboxing some plants that are coming in the mail this week, and there are a few of them. I might have gone on a little bit of an impulse situation, but in my defense they were on sale. However, it is also that time of month where I get my plant dealer subscription box in the mail. So I also wanted to share that with you guys. I went to go check the mail today and my package had arrived and I am so excited. I know you guys watched me unbox my last one, but I wanted to share with you just kind of monthly until the end of the year or until the end of their shipping season, what their boxes look like, so you guys know if it's something that you might be interested in. So if you like this kind of video, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up and let's get into it. So the first one I want to unbox for you guys is my plant dealer subscription box. I am so excited that this one has arrived. It actually feels like it was just yesterday that I was filling out their species form, or maybe a couple days ago. I don't know, this week has gone by so fast, but I'm actually going to insert a clip here for you of what their form looks like. It has a few categories, so you can either choose plants you have or plants that you want. And then you can choose from the kind of the species list that they have in stock and let them know which plants you are interested in. This month, as you can see from my choices, I chose a few Philodendron. I think I also chose maybe a couple Anthurium. I don't remember exactly, even though it was a couple days ago, but I am really excited. I did elect for a box this month that had more kind of variety. So cuttings, small rooted plants, large rooted plants, medium rooted plants, all of that. I'm not really interested in wet sticks. And that's not to say that I, wouldn't be very happy to have a wet stick of a plant that I really wanted, but wet sticks make me nervous. So we're gonna see what happens. I kind of just left it up to the mercy of the plant dealer god. But I do want to go ahead and start getting this unwrapped for you guys. So already I do see, looks like 3 little plants in here, which I'm so excited about. And again, this is their little plant dealer card. It has kind of their info on here, and it has a little bit of a care sheet on the back. And I really appreciate that the plant dealer includes this for someone who is more experienced in plants. Maybe it's not needed, but it is still really nice to just kind of have. And for someone who's newer to plants or not as familiar with plants, it's a really great thing to have kind of included, because I mean, if you don't know how to take care of some plants, there's some that are gonna be a little bit more particular than others. Like Syngonium is on here, Epiprenum, Philodendron, Raphidophora, all those are on here. And I just think those are really useful things to have. So I appreciate that this is included, and I really think that's pretty cool. And let's go ahead and dig in. So I definitely see 3 plants. I think it is the 3, which is good because hopefully that means that there's not going to be a rootless cutting in here, which again scares me just a smidgen. Not that I wouldn't be excited to have it, but I'm going to go ahead and get this little guy unwrapped. I know I'm unwrapping the largest one first. Sue me, I get really excited. So just kind of digging right in. And as usual, these are wrapped so well. The plant dealer really pays a lot of attention. I believe they're based, is it Iowa? I'm so bad at remembering what state they're in, my goodness. Iowa, yes, okay. They're based in Iowa, and for plants to travel all the way from Iowa to Florida is a little bit of a journey. And that's one that, there's a lot of things that could happen. Our mail service is not renowned for being the most careful at times. So I always worry, but I know the plant dealer is really meticulous with the way that they package plants to make sure that they get here in the best condition possible. And I do want to clarify, this is not sponsored at all. I just really like their plants and I really like their service. And this was actually a gift for Christmas from my dad. So I'm gonna try to get the paper off here. But yeah, so I don't have any like motivation to talk nice about them. I genuinely like this shop and I think they're really cool. Ooh, okay. Okay, so I actually kind of expected to get this one, which I am perfectly okay with. It was definitely on my list, so that's fine. This is, there we go, a Philodendron golden horn. So this is one of those ones that has like more unique shaped leaves among the Philodendron, and I don't have anything that's quite like this. I'm not saying that it's like the first plant that I would pick up ever in a store, but it's definitely really interesting, and I was kind of interested to see, you know, what happens, so how well I could grow it, etc., etc. And it looks like it is in really great shape, which I'm very excited about. And I know that the plant dealer has really great soil, and again, they ship super carefully, so none of it has even come out. So I expect this plant is probably doing just fine and will probably be able to sit while I'm at work today, which is what I'm planning on doing next. So I don't necessarily need to unwrap it, but I kind of just want to take a quick peek. Oh man, she does, or they, I guess, 'cause I know her husband's also involved, but I keep on saying she does such a great job wrapping these plants. There we go. So that is the Philodendron golden horn. And again, as you can see, these leaves are a very unique shape. And actually the texture is really interesting too. I kind of expected it to feel more like the Philodendron Florida kind of varieties. It's a little bit thicker, which is kind of interesting. And like I said, it's just a very cool little plant. I'm just looking. There is a little bit of sticky on here. It's one of those ones that produces EFN from what I can see. But I'm probably gonna make sure that this one sits in a safe spot while I'm at work. I have been a little less diligent about my quarantining, but I do want to make sure that I don't introduce anything to my collections, as should you if you have a large collection or just, you know, plants that you want to make sure are taken care of. So I am gonna probably set this one off to the side and then dig in a little bit more. Okay, so next, let's go for this one. So this looks like one of their smaller plants. They did have kind of the options of small, medium, or large plants. I did choose all three of them, I think, because I wanted a little bit more variety this time. And it looks like I've gotten 3 plants total, so one more than last time, which is kind of cool. I know you guys are probably having trouble hearing me over the crinkling of the paper, so I'm trying not to keep talking, but I get so excited when I'm opening stuff like this. I just can't help it. Oh, yay! Okay. I'm actually really excited about this one. So this is, yeah, the Everpremnum pinnatum neon. So Everpremnum pinnatum is a little bit different from the like pothos Everpremnum varieties. This one will grow really, really large and fenestrated, kind of in that almost like teardrop type shape, just kind of like these leaves are now. I actually don't have any Everpremnum in my collection beyond just my pothos, so I am really excited with this one. It's not something I was interested in until recently. I'm not sure exactly who it was that I saw. They had a really, really huge, gorgeous Everpremnum growing up a pole. And that kind of convinced me to at least give them a shot and see kind of maybe what Everpremnum could do for me. So this is my Everpremnum pinnatum that I just opened up. And it does have a little bit of that yellow variegation. So this is the neon version of the Everpremnum pinnatum. And I'm really interested to see kind of what happens. And I will keep you guys updated, obviously, as it goes along. But yes, I'm really excited to have this one, and I'm gonna see probably if I can get it on a pole sometime soon. Okay, and then the last plant in the box looks like another small one. So again, kind of interested to see what it's gonna be. Because you know that obviously a large plant like the golden horn isn't gonna fit in something like this. So I'm guessing maybe another epipremnum. Let me see. And I do want to say something that I really think that I enjoy about the plant dealer so far is they don't really send you like baby plants, if that makes sense. If you look, you know, on Etsy or you're online shopping for plants, a lot of the times you'll see like little starter plants or little plugs, and those are all fine. I don't have anything against them, but they, for me, tend to grow really, really slow, and it's just, there's a certain satisfaction to kind of growing a plant from a baby and like watching it become a huge plant, but I'm also not that patient. So I really try to purchase cuttings when I can, and that seems to be mostly how the plant dealer grows their plants, is from cuttings, which I really appreciate, because it means that they're going to grow a little bit bigger, a little bit faster. So that is really cool. Ooh, okay. So this is a string of coins. So not an epipremnum, but it is actually one I forgot that I put on my list. So string of coins is really, really similar to both Hoya and Dischidia. They are, yeah, I think it's just called a string of coins. I don't know the botanical name. I'll try to put it up if I can find it. But I'm just looking. So they are, again, like I said, pretty similar. They will grow from just cuttings, and they grow pretty quick. And actually, Wild Fern here on YouTube is the reason that I actually checked this off of my list. I believe she has a string of coins or a string of nickels or whatever it was. It's really similar, and I just kind of wanted to see, you know, what would happen. And I know string ofs kind of cover a really large kind of area. So like there's string of hearts, there's string of turtles, there's string of dolphins and bananas and ruby necklaces and all of those stuff. And they all kind of are from different families, but they're all string ofs. And this one, I'm not sure which family it belongs to. Again, I'll put it on the screen if I can find it. But this one in particular, I know has a little bit of a thicker stem. So it's gonna be a little bit more resilient, at least in my mind, than maybe something like a string of hearts would be. But as you can see here, that's kind of what their little leaves look like. They are really small and round, and they kind of feel really cool. And I'm kind of excited to have this one. I'm excited to see how it grows. I don't know whether or not it's a fast grower, so I don't know if I'm gonna have just kind of like one vine for a little while, or if it'll kind of, you know, grow more and go faster for me. But that's kind of the beauty, I think, of this hobby, is getting to find that kind of stuff out. And someone like me who doesn't necessarily have a ton of space for large plants, it is kind of nice to have plants that are small but make an impact, if that makes sense. Like my Hoya shelf over there, a lot of my plants on that shelf are small, but they definitely kind of make an impact, at least on me, and I really enjoy them. So I'm hoping this is kind of one of those plants for me. And I'm trying to remove the fluff because I saw, yeah, there is another leaf down here. Ooh. Okay, so this one got jostled around a little bit more. Oh, that is a bad place to put that. I hope I don't regret that in a second. Okay, so the fluff is coming off. It does have a little root system, but like I said, it got jostled around a little bit more, so it definitely got uprooted just a smidge. So I might have to add a little bit more soil in there for this little plant, but it looks like it has 3 leaves, and it might, I can't tell if those are growth points or not. I'm not familiar enough with this plant to be able to kind of discern that yet, but super cute little cutting, very cute little vine, and I'm excited to see what happens. So that is all my plants from the plant dealer that arrived today. However, there is one more package that arrived, and it is this one. As you can see, it got a little bit smushed. As I mentioned earlier, our mail system, you know, not the kindest of plants. It has fragile written all over it, live plants, you know, all of that. And just arrived in a little bit rougher condition. So I hope the plants within are okay. And these are not mysteries. These I do actually know what they are. So I am really, really excited for these. But I didn't want to let them sit until tomorrow, until I came home from work or anything like that. So the seller did let me know that she had kind of had to cut this box to fit. She didn't necessarily have one that fit perfectly. So I'm trying to figure out how to open this without kind of squishing it further. Okay. All right. Trying to be careful with these scissors because we all know I should not necessarily have super sharp scissors anywhere near me. If you haven't seen it, there's definitely at least one video where I have cut my hand open on these scissors, so should probably be a little more careful. Oh, that's so sweet. She included a card. Gotta open that first, of course. Oh, this is actually really pretty. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Oh, that's so sweet. So she sent a little thank you card, and I've mentioned this before, you guys, I am so easily won over with stickers. If you include stickers in anything, I get so excited. And these are little fungi stickers or fun guy stickers. I am so, like, these are so cute. And I was definitely that kid when I was younger that I could be won over very easily, or like rewards for me could be stickers to try to get me to do stuff. Yeah, I've remained that way as an adult. So I really like these. These are super cute. Thank you so much, Sandra, for that. I really appreciate them. All right, so I'm gonna pop them back in there. That way they don't get lost. And then, all right. So she included a ton of fluff, which as a buyer is one of my favorite things to see. I always prefer it when there's a ton of fluff in the package. And she did put a little bit of, oops. Actually, it seems like there's a plant in here. I'm gonna open this one first. I'm not sure what that is. Look. Oh, that is so sweet. Oh my goodness. So she actually included like little cuttings, which I was not expecting. One of them is a syngonium, which is this one. And this one I think is an epipremnum of some variety. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think she included in here, but I will message her and ask, and then I'll try to put it on the screen for you guys. But she did include a couple of little free cuttings. That is so kind and so generous. Oh my goodness. She absolutely didn't have to do that. And I'm going to really hope that I don't kill them. Syngonium and I don't have the best track record, but maybe I'll try this one in like some pon or something to see if maybe it does a little bit better in pon. If you guys have Syngonium tips, please leave them below because I would like to make sure that these live. So that is so sweet. I actually wasn't expecting that. So that was actually a surprise. And again, that's such a kind thing to do as a seller. I know, especially as someone like who does try to like sell their plants and make their money off of plants, like including freebies can sometimes be a little bit, you know, I wouldn't say difficult, but like not necessarily something you want to do because you're not selling the plants if you're giving them away. But as a buyer, like it's just really sweet, you know, when somebody does include those kind of things. And this one, again, I do know what this one is, and I'm a little bit worried. So she packed these in a plastic bag to try to keep the humidity in, which is appreciated because this is a plant that does like its humidity. She said she normally ships this plant in a humidity dome, but it was a little bit too large for a dome, so she wasn't able to do that this time. Okay, I'm just cutting this bag open. But it looks like a little bit of water kind of pooled on the side where the leaves were. So I hope that didn't damage the leaves. They look okay, I think. Oh my goodness. So you guys, this is a wish list plant of mine, full stop. I am so excited to have this one. This is actually a Philodendron Verrucosum. So this one's a little bit kind of wonky. She said that she took some cuttings from it, which, you know, fine by me. That doesn't bother me at all. And it looks actually like it's in pretty good shape. I'm not, so let me just check the roots for safety. Normally things, you know, if they ship pretty quick, the roots should arrive in good condition, but roots are obviously the thing you need in order to keep the plant alive. So I always want to double check. Opening this up. The cutting itself looks like it's doing pretty well, or like, no, I guess not the cutting, the actual plant itself looks like it's doing pretty well. She wrapped it really nicely. It looks like with sphagnum around the roots, which is great. Keep those roots from drying out in transit. My preferred method of kind of packaging, I usually do prefer to purchase with, you know, pots and soil, like the plant dealer does, but second up on that list is wrapping in plastic with some spag, because like I said, it keeps those roots from drying out while they're being shipped. And it also keeps soil from getting everywhere, which is also appreciated. Okay. So those roots look pretty healthy. I definitely see a lot of good roots. And I was just kind of worried about this part. It's a little bit squishy. It's actually not part of the roots, it's part of the stem, but that's easy enough to trim off. And then, yeah, these roots actually feel really good. So I'm not going to completely unwrap this just yet because I'm not able to pot it up just yet. So I'm going to wrap these back up and let them sit probably until I get home. But so far, so good. So that's one. And oh, actually, let me show you guys a close-up. So this, like I said, is a Verrucosum, and it's actually the Panther, the Verrucosum Panther. And there's a lot of different Verrucosum varieties, if you are unaware. And this one in particular, I purchased because of how it looks when it's mature. So there are some Verrucosum that maintain kind of the red throughout their lifetime, throughout their backs, and there's some that have like more green on front, and there's some that have more like light green and dark green contrast on their fronts. I really like the ones with the contrast personally, and I was specifically looking for one that had contrast to it. And this one, from what I can see, my research, the adult form does have quite a lot of contrast. So that's kind of why I picked that one. And again, I mentioned her a lot, but Wild Fern, one of my favorite YouTubers here, she actually has, okay, this is upside down, a really, really beautiful Verrucosum that I was kind of taking inspiration from. Because I've seen some Verrucosum, like I said, that kind of just remain kind of green, not super, you know, super captivating or anything, not like a super unique leaf. And there's some that do have more of that unique coloration. And that's really what I was looking for. So I'm really excited about that one. And it looks like, I don't know, I might put it into cuttings and root it, or I might just keep it as is. We're gonna see kind of what I choose to do when I unwrap it later. But this is the second plant in the package. And again, I know what this one is. I'm trying to keep from getting everything all over the place. And I don't want to hurt the leaves either. So as you guys probably have heard me mention before, I don't have a ton of Anthurium. I have, I want to say 2 right now, 2 Anthurium. And I'm trying to kind of gradually get more and more into them. So trying to accomplish that goal, I picked up this beauty. This is an Anthurium regale, and of all of the Anthurium I've seen, this is definitely one of the ones I was most interested in. And it looks like that chunk is really healthy. I definitely see at least one good root outside of the package. There's probably more inside of like this little plastic wrap here, but I don't want to take it completely apart again because I'm not going to be able to take care of it right now. I just kind of wanted to see how it looked and kind of inspect the leaves. So leaves look pretty good, and I'm just looking kind of for signs of any pests, anything like that. This was a private sale, and I have purchased plants from private sales before that have turned out to have pests. So I'm a little bit more cautious of private sales than I am of like a professional shop. I think I'm probably gonna give this one a treatment either way, just because I do worry and I don't want to spread anything. But this one looks pretty good. I think I do see like a few spots that might be some thrips damage. And just out of abundance of caution, I'm going to make sure that those are treated and taken care of appropriately, because I don't want to welcome any pests into my home. But as you can see, these leaves are huge and big and beautiful, and I am really excited to try my hand at this plant. If you guys have any tips for the regale as well, leave them down below. I would love to hear them, because I am going to do my best to see kind of what happens. And again, this is kind of the area that I'm talking about that looks like it might have some pest damage. There we go. So that kind of silvery and then kind of like the dark little spots looks like it could be thrips damage. So I'm gonna try to keep this one maybe separate for a little while. I might even put it into the greenhouse. But like I said, I'm gonna treat it either way. So I will go ahead and get this one treated, and then we'll start the next clip. All right, so it is about a week later. I did get one more package, but I wasn't able to film it. But I did kind of want to show you guys an update on how all of the plants that I got the past week are doing. So I wanted to start with the plant dealer ones because I always love their plants. They come in great condition every time that I've ever seen them, which is awesome. And I wanted to start with this one, mostly because the other two just got watered, so they're going to be a little damp. But this is the string of coins, like you wanted to call it, a string of nickels. And it is doing really well. The leaves are still firm. I have watered it and filled in with a little bit of soil on top and just gotten those roots back down under the soil line. And it seems to be doing really well. And as you can see here, those 3 coins that I unwrapped look really nice and healthy. I'm not sure exactly where the new growth is going to come out on this plant. I'm assuming it will eventually, but I just don't see any growth points yet. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, wait for some new growth to pop out. But that is my string of coins. Next was this little guy, which is the Epipremnum pinnatum neon variegated. And I'm checking the labels to make sure I have them right. This is the Epipremnum pinnatum. And as you can see here, it's still really nice looking, very happy. I did just get finished watering it. This one and the next one I'm about to show you both came in a moss mix, like a moss mix with, looks like some perlite and some cocoa coir, just to kind of keep a really nice loose rooting mix, it looks like. And I do have a root coming out of the bottom, which is why I did double pot it. So I probably will pot this one up soon, but I just haven't gotten the energy for it yet this week. But I wanted to show you guys what this one looks like. I don't have a new growth point on it yet that I can see. Sometimes they kind of pop out of the base, so I was checking, but I don't see one. But it does still look really nice, and I'm excited to get this one into a pot. I'm trying to think of whether or not I want to put it on a pole immediately. So leave me down in the comments whether you guys think I should immediately put this on a pole or wait for it to get a little bit bigger. Okay, and last from the plant dealer, and apparently it's gonna stick to this little drip tray here. This is the golden violin. I think I called it something differently originally, maybe like a golden horn or something like that, possibly. But this is that philodendron, has that really cool shape, not quite a Florida, kind of philodendron Florida shape, but also not quite like a lance shape. It kind of has a little bit of both. And it does have a really nice growth point coming in, and it actually has some aerial roots as well. So this one absolutely could be put on a pole if I really wanted to. I'm thinking about it. Again, this one came in the moss mix with the perlite and the cocoa coir. So it does need to be repotted. And ideally, I would probably put this one on a pole. That way it can grow up that pole and get some nice, really big leaves out of there. But these leaves are still doing really well. And as you can see, they're just like a little bit of a unique shape, like I said, and I think that's really cool. It's not necessarily a shape that I was ever like super interested in or like specifically, you know, tried to purchase, but I nonetheless think it's really cool. And that's what I really like, I think, about plant subscription boxes like the Plant Dealer, where it is a total surprise and you don't know what you're getting, is that, you know, there are certain plants that I kind of get stuck on and I want all of that plant or all of the plants that look like that plant, and you kind of miss out on some of the other ones, I think, at that point when you start like hyper focusing on one. So I really like that the Plant Dealer has kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone and forced me to kind of look at other plants that I maybe wouldn't have purchased intentionally, but still I'm gonna get a lot of joy out of it. And next up, I wanna share the plants from the second clip that I unboxed. And the first one is a good update so far. This is my Philodendron, Anthurium regale. And as you can see here, she is still looking really nice. I did actually wait a day before repotting this girl, as well as the other plants that I got in that kind of box. I was a little bit hesitant because of the spotting. I think you guys probably saw my reaction in that video. Like, I was a little worried because this spotting right here on these leaves, that silvery kind of weird scarring appearance, that can be indicative of thrips. So the scarring itself, I wasn't as worried about. Those kind of rings, I mean, I'm not really concerned about it. It's probably just normal stuff, but like, if you can look at this leaf right here, it has silveriness and it has black dots. And that black dotting is kind of another sign of thrips. It's like the thrip poo inside of the leaves. And it didn't wash off. I did actually soak this one. And I don't know, I'm still a little bit worried about it, but I have treated this in the past couple of days. And I did actually put it into a semi-hydro setup. So into pond here, I am trying to kind of, I think, put a lot of my Anthuriums into pond, and by a lot, I mean the 3 of them. Because I think that pond would probably be a better setup for the Anthuriums. They usually have really nice, chunky, thick roots. Like this one does actually, if you look kind of in the side here. And any repotting is gonna kind of throw your plants a little bit. I still see healthy roots in here, so I'm not too worried. I do also see some that are browning a little bit, which I'm not super happy about, but this one did come from Lekka, so she should be pretty used to a semi-hydro setup right now. So I'm just kind of keeping an eye on her. I think she'll do just fine. I did actually inoculate all of these plants with mycorrhizal or myco, which is a really, really great kind of additive to your water routine. It helps to create a, what's it called? A symbiotic, there we go, a symbiotic relationship between the plant's roots, the microbes in the soil, and the myco. And it helps to make sure that your plants get the nutrients they need. It helps to make them more resilient with watering and all of that. And it also helps to prevent some root rot, from what I understand. So I typically water in new plants with myco just out of an abundance of caution. And that is what I did here. I watered it in with myco. So I do expect the myco to kind of give this one a little bit of a boost and hopefully kind of reduce some transplant shock. Like I said, I really haven't noticed much of an issue with this plant. She still seems pretty happy. Obviously there is some yellowing on the edges of this leaf and the spotting on this one. Hi buds. But overall, I think she's gonna be fine. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because the next update is not as great. Hi, Bubs, what you doing? What you doing? Oh, you are shush. Oh my goodness, your fur. Oh goodness, there's just fluff coming right off of him. And don't worry about his grumbling. He makes that sound normally. It's just how he talks. Okay, so like I said, the next update is not as great. This is the Verrucosum. I know that the Verrucosum is a super kind of temperamental plant for a lot of people. I know they really like humidity, but I've also seen a lot of people grow them out in like room humidity. So I try to do the same thing, and I probably should have kept in mind that this plant came from like a 90% humidity terrarium environment, and I threw it into my house, and my house has been having a little bit of a humidity drop lately. So it was like 40% humidity, and that is a huge change. For the first couple of days, it looked totally fine. I didn't have any issues, and I was like, cool, it's gonna be great. Had it up on a stake and everything. No, I was wrong. Actually, I have cut off all of the leaves, if you can see in here. All of them kind of did the wilty lettuce thing. And if you've never had a plant do that, it's extremely alarming, because I immediately thought, oh my God, I need to get this in higher humidity. And I did. I put it right next to the humidifier, literally in the stream of the humidifier, and it didn't budge, didn't do a thing. I do have it actually in perlite right now. The roots that it came with were a little bit sparse once I kind of trimmed off the kind of suspicious looking areas. So I was like, well, let's just put it into perlite. Let's let it, get a little bit better root system before I do anything with it. And the first day it drank up all the water. It was all gone. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's thirsty. It's great. So I added a little bit more water, and I don't think that's where the issue came from. But this plant, when I pulled it out today, because today is when I cut off all of the leaves and put the bag on it, the roots were really looking suspicious. I was able to just kind of pinch them right off, and I would rather, know that I have good healthy roots than kind of just, play it safe, if that makes sense. I would rather play it safe than leave suspicious roots on a plant, because I don't want the plant to have rot. Like, I don't want it to spread up the stem, and especially something like a Verrucosum, I know that they can be very temperamental. So I did pinch off all the roots, but I found one healthy root that did not want to come off, and I left it alone because I'm hoping that it will be a good starting point. But I also actually cut it into several cuttings. So we have a bunch of leafless cuttings, and I'm gonna put this somewhere that it's gonna be nice and warm. The bag is gonna help the humidity stay inside of this, or I guess stay around this plant. And I'm hopeful that with this setup, I will actually be able to get some Verrucosum that are more acclimated to a more room environment condition, rather than like a terrarium only kind of focus. I'm gonna be really sad if these cuttings don't make it. I really wanted a Verrucosum for a long time, especially one that has kind of that really dark, pretty, like almost striping on the leaves and the beautiful red backs. Like, that is kind of goals. So I am very hopeful that I'll be able to get at least one of these cuttings to actually take off for me and to start growing a whole plant. This plant was super small to begin with, so it's not really like a huge loss of, oh no, I have to start from, all over again. When I had leaves the size of my hand, they weren't large. They were like this big, if you guys remember. So I guess this is where we're at. If you guys have any Verrucosum advice, like I said, leave it down in the comments. I'm always open to it, and I'm gonna check on this pretty frequently just to kind of keep up on the progress, but hopefully, I'm hopeful. Okay, so the other two little cuttings that did come with those plants, I just kind of wanted to show you guys real quick. If you guys don't know, Syngonium hate me. I don't know exactly why or what I did to Syngoniums to make them so angry with me. But this Syngonium cutting, like this leaf yellowed. I do have it actually in water, and this perlate's actually floating on the top because I didn't want the stem to be submerged too far. So it's kind of hanging out in that perlate and still getting water. The root's actually in the water, but I think that's going to kind of help to keep it from getting all rotty on me, hopefully. That's the idea anyways. And yeah, I think this was actually the newest leaf, so I kind of understand it yellowing off. It's, cut off from the root system. Plant's gonna cut off, the most vulnerable bits first, so I get that. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. Syngoniums just don't like me. I literally have one Syngonium in my collection that is still alive, and I don't know what I'm doing to keep it happy. It's up there, and I just leave it alone, honestly, for the most part. I usually forget to water it, and it doesn't seem to mind, so I don't know, but this one, definitely not happy. Oh, easy buds. But this one is definitely not happy, so yeah, I'm just kind of gonna let it keep going, see what happens. I'm hopeful. that it'll kind of perk back up. Obviously this leaf won't, but we'll see on that. So that's the one cutting. And the other cutting is actually in kind of like my little communal cutting jar. I do have a little spider plantlet in here, and I have the last cutting of my very, very sunburned pothos in here. All the other ones rotted out, which I was kind of expecting. I mean, it literally was sunburned to bits. So the fact that there was anything left, and also it was infested with mealybugs. So I kind of was seeing that coming, not that big of a loss. I already got a new one to replace it. It's just, you know, how is a pothos I've had for a long time. So that's not the point though. This is the plant that was, or the cutting that was sent to me. Again, don't know exactly which type this is. I don't know the exact type of the syngonium either. I know that that's a syngonium and this is an epipremnum of some variety, and that's about all I have. I don't think these are fenestrations. I think these are leaf damage, but I'm not really sure. But it is just a cute little cutting. It has a lot of veining to it. Does have a little bit of like splashy variegation. Like it's kind of that lighter green, almost minty kind of color. So I'm not sure exactly what this is. Epipremnum are not exactly my forte. I'm usually a Philodendron, Hoya, and becoming an Anthurium girl. And I'm usually pretty happy in those spaces, but this one is pretty cute. It seems to be doing just fine as well. It has like a good amount of like little roots on it that are popped in the water here. So I expect this one to be absolutely fine. And I'll grow it out to whatever the heck it turns out to be, but thought it was pretty cool. Wanted to show you guys this little epipremnum cutting. And then the last plant that I have to share with you guys this week, this is not what you saw me unbox, but I did have to actually unbox it off camera because it came in and I just didn't have the time to unbox it in front of the camera with you guys. So I wanted to at least share it with you. This is my El Choco Red, otherwise known as the Rubra Juvenile, I think is what it is. But I mean, it's easy to see why the red leaves, or the red backed leaves, and as they come in are really, really red. So hence the Rubra Juvenile or Rubra Juvenile. So like that kind of red name makes sense. And it is in just like a little nursery pot. It seems, I can definitely see some roots, but not a ton. And this is a really, really chunky mix, which actually has some leca in it, which is kind of cool. I've considered putting leca into my mix, but I don't really have a good location to get leca from near me. I've actually gotten mine on Amazon, so I don't want to like use all of my leca and then not have any leca. It's a whole leca thing. But it does have some leca in the mix, some perlite, some bark, and it looks pretty good. I watered it a couple days ago, and honestly, this is, I went on a whole thing where like I got really into all the El Choco Red, just looking at all of them, and I really think this one is so gorgeous. It's definitely fulfilling my El Choco Red desires here with that beautiful velvety green front. It's kind of a dark green, but it's almost like a bluish silvery dark green front with like the bright green veining, and then again those red backs. It is just a gorgeous plant, and this one is a pretty good size, kind of like juvenile. I believe this one is a crawler if I remember correctly. I was looking at a ton of them, so I kind of like lost track, but I think this one's a crawler. So this is gonna stay probably in this pot for a little while, and then as it sizes up, I'll just kind of let it crawl as it will. But yeah, it has like this new little growth coming in, which I am super excited about. When I pull down like these old little cataphyls, it looks like it's really good. It actually looks like it's kind of getting ready to pop. I can just barely see, I don't think you guys will be able to see it, but I'll try anyways, a green leaf tip up top there. So it is just about ready to put out that leaf, and I am super excited. It'll be the first leaf in my care, and I have actually gotten the humidity issue a little bit solved, or at least a little bit better than it was. So I'm hopeful that I'll be able to avoid kind of like this damage. And I know velvet leaf philodendron can be a little bit more picky, but I'm really hopeful that this one will grow well for me. It at least hasn't turned to wet lettuce or wet spinach, so that is already a thumbs up as far as this week is gone. So This again is my Rupert Juvenile or El Choco Red, and I am so excited. Alright guys, and that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed getting to see some of the most exciting plants that I've unboxed in quite a while. I am really excited to be adding all these plants to my collection, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they all do well for me. If you guys have any tips, like I said, leave them down below. I would love to hear them because I am not a plant expert by any means, and I love the plant community so much that it shares knowledge and all of that. Those are some of my favorite things about it. So if you like this kind of video, leave me a thumbs up, leave me comments down below. I would love to hear from you guys. And there is a little subscribe button there. If you hit that, you'll see me around more often, and I would love to have you guys around more often as well. But I think that's it for today. Thanks so much. Bye.